Hey everyone, blessings everyone. You now have Pine Grove News live. And not only do you not have it live at 6 o'clock, but we have a different format too. Obviously, I got my mug out there now. I don't know how long I could do that. Well, I could change the page so I don't have to look at my ugly mug. And I will do that as soon as I can. Well, let's go over and check if our live stream is up, and it is on YouTube. That's Pine Grove News live stream, PGN live stream. So with that, well, I got to go monitor it. So I got to go blow it up here, turn the volume off. Okay, so I just, been able to figure all this out myself. And it's a big deal for me because it took a long time. And I still got a lot of quirks. So just bear with me. Let's get this out there. Hope it will show up on the main page. I want to see how that looks. This is the Fair Use Act. And stick around, man, because I got news from where, well, wage war, right? And we're going to talk about Kim Jong-Un. Yeah, and apparently it is not transitioning. So, very interesting. All right. Let's do this. All right, hold on 1 second. What am I doing? All right, man. Let's just put it on the, oh, I know what I'm doing. We'll put it on, give an update on the coronavirus, see how that works out. I mean, it should at least change the page that we're looking at. So, yeah, okay, that worked. Sorry, guys. All right, let's just do this quick. So I'm just getting used to it. I apologize that you have to go through it with me too. But I mean, why not? So we'll do this. I'll start with the news anyway. This is the updates. The update as of today. I didn't load it up, but anyways, I think it was 3,045,000 2 days ago. I don't know why I didn't do it yesterday. I was obviously not home. So I am back to work Wednesday. That'll be today, the 29th. I had the weekend off, and then I took 2 sick days. I mean, I used the excuse that it was my ankle, which was part of it. Good part of it, because it's been bothering me a while. But yeah, I couldn't believe that what they did to me Friday took me 4 days to get over. Got to thank the Lord for reminding me that there's still a lot of work to be done in me, that's for sure. To be angry about that for 4 days. I've spoken words out of my mouth like I don't really care about the money, and I really don't in the long run, but I think it was the kind of fact that I felt like I was kind of being disrespected. That's kind of hurt me the most, being disrespected. I've never given anybody or been disrespectful to anybody. I'm not talking about my childhood, because I was very disrespectful to everybody, including myself. But yeah. Anyways, all over. That's all over with, done with, and we'll just get on with the news. So there you have it. 3,195,923. and stick around because, yeah, I think I've already told you, got some news on Kim Jong-Un, and I don't believe it because it was the 25th that this video came out, even though I only listened to it, I believe it was yesterday. No, actually, I think it was today, 3 days later. So, and I usually listen to this particular person, look to see if he's got a new video at least once a day. So I don't know, maybe I got to hit the notifications for this guy or something. So with that, I mean, we'll just go to this, okay? Fauci warns second wave of coronavirus inevitable. 100K more body bags purchased. I mean, every time this guy steps up to the microphone, it is just bleak, is it not? He's almost worse than I am. Yeah, pretty bleak. Of course, we know he has ties to Gates, right? He has ties to that money. I'm telling you right now. I've shown you, headlines anyway. And actually, it was some data somewhere where it proved that he was in league with the UN and the WHO and Bill Gates. Who knows who else? I mean, I haven't heard George Soros for a while. Does anybody know if George Soros is alive? I haven't heard from anything about him in a while. I'm not. Who else haven't we heard? So anyways, yeah. They still have orders, and I'm going to show you this other thing because I guess it's Pompeo. He has a headline or a tweet or something out there. So we'll get to that in a second. But so anyways, the dates. We're not supposed to be opening until the 20th of May. Okay, and Friday is May 1st. So, and I know that they mentioned June, and then you had the lady who's normally up there talking with that task force. I guess I mentioned 2 days ago in that short video that I made that she will continue throughout the summer. And I talked to people in work today and mentioned that the summer thing, and they're just shaking their heads too, man, because there's no way you're going to keep the American people in their homes, sequestered to their even backyard all summer. It's not going to happen. I don't care, I don't care even if the tanks, that are supposedly here in the U.S. with their rubber tracks instead of the real metal ones so that don't ruin the streets of America. I have yet to see, I've heard many stories about the tanks that are here, and we know that, all the guard have been called up. And we know Jade Helm, when that first started, they had a lot of military equipment too that just seemed to disappear into the background, into the neighborhood, into the town, state, wherever they were heading to. And so, maybe they'll just pop up out of the ground somewhere, right? Maybe from their dumps, deep underground military bases. Yeah, who knows? But in any case, there's an article out there that mentions Pompeo. I'm just trying to find it. All right, well, I can't believe I do not have it. Anyway, I wonder if it's in the Facebook one. Let's, we want to hear from this lady too, Lee Dunk. I don't know if that's the lady speaking. She's in some type of government somewhere. Where is that video? All right, we're going to look for it for a second. Where was it? No, that's not it. Oh, well, I lost that unless it's here. Lost that video. Oh, yeah, I want to, here we go. Got to read this. This is from Attorney General Barr. You're not going to see this, so I'm going to change the format a little bit so that you can see it better. And then hopefully you'll be able to see it better. But it says at the top, and I can't read most of that letter below it, from the Office of the Eternal Attorney General. So at the top it says, break-in, Attorney General Barr has just finished putting together orders to compel all 50 state governors to open for business and end illegal martial law stay-at-home directives by May 1st. Muchin is how you pronounce that? Muchin said failure will have repercussions of losing federal funds. So, just remember that when Trump declared a national emergency, right? Who takes over? FEMA takes over, right? And so, Barr, I guess, I guess you would have somebody head of FEMA, but apparently Barr becomes the, kind of idolic sitting president, if FEMA is taking control. So basically that's what it is. I mean, he's our, sitting president right now because FEMA is in charge now. And I just hope it isn't like Katrina and wherever else, California fires where they showed up. Yeah, nothing said was ever done. And in any case, so this can't read this fine print not too well. So you'll have to I'll leave you a link. You got the link at the top there. Just a memorandum for the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights and all United States attorneys. From subject, balancing public safety with the preservation of civil rights. I was actually looking up the Bill of Rights and the Constitution because, I keep saying that we're not under the Constitution, we're under the Wars Power Act, but yeah, we may still be under the Wars Power Act, but that has nothing to do basically with the Constitution not being enforceable. The Wars Power Act is just, I'll just read it right here. It's very brief. The powers, war powers, which is what it's called, resolutions of federal law intended to check the U.S. president's power to commit the United States to an armed conflict without consent of U.S. Congress. So that's what the Wars Power Act is. It has nothing to do with the dissolution or the dissolving of the Constitution, which I thought was at the starting of the Federal Reserve, which, believe it or not, I thought was in right after World War I, 19 or 1933, but it was not. It was actually put in place before the World War II. World War I. So December 23rd, 1913, that's when the Federal Reserve System was put in place. And I guess basically that's when we, and the banking system gave all the Constitution, all that other stuff away because we became a U.S. corporation at that time. U.S. Inc. So anyways, I'm going to look into that a little further. But so there you have that. So there is, this hope that, because if they don't do something like this, especially for, reasons that they claim that this coronavirus is obviously a world pandemic, people all around the world will get it just like they get it every time. And the flu and the measles and, I don't know if they get the pox anymore, but Ebola all over, everywhere. and we don't shut the country down for it. We don't. We've had a lot worse. But they needed to do this test run. Just remember, Event 201 and what they planned. And I know that for some reason, and I don't know if Trump's with or, with us or with them when it comes to this. If you're going to make America great again, you don't lock them down and destroy their economy and their livelihoods. And you don't take them prisoner and make them become, well, we are slaves, but just worse in that sense. Just like the Egyptians did to the Israelis, I was reading the book of Jasher, been reading it for about a week now. So just past chapter 65 and 66, where it talks about the Egyptians coming up with a scheme, because it was the Egyptians and the Israelites working to build these two cities. One of them, Ramses, I forget the name of the other one. But they built up this scheme where they worked together, started that way, and little by little, the Egyptians kept pulling out people. So every day, so on and so forth, you'd have more Israelis working, or Israelites, whatever you'd like to call them, and the Egyptians just faded away. And then you had just the Israelites working. And then eventually they took away their pay and made them work for nothing. They didn't like it, and of course they didn't have a choice at that point. They were beaten, smoked, whatever you want to call it. So they went back to work for nothing. So sounded kind of familiar, doesn't it? Kind of sounds like something we're working up to. And so I'm just saying, it's a plan someone's made before, and I guess maybe took it out of history, decided to implement it now. Good plan, right? Yeah, it was a good plan. Only the one thing I don't understand is, and you need to read Jasher for this, because the stories in there about the Israelites, Jacob and the 12 brothers, that family, the Israelites, period. There were many, many mighty men. And I know we read about it in Genesis. But the things that these mighty men could do, they were just made totally different. Everything was different back then. They had a lot of interaction with God, and the angel of God, the angel of the Lord, whatever. They had a lot of face-to-face interaction. They had a lot of miracles and a lot of things. Armies on the opposing side of the Israelites were decimated. I mean, how what do you call them? Not the patriarchs, because that's the apostles. Do they call them the patriarchs, the 12 sons of Jacob? I'm not sure. I thought it was the apostles that were called the patriarchs. But in any case, man, they had superhuman strength. And you know how Jericho was taken down, right? It was taken down with not only the trumpet sounds after marching around the wall of Jericho for 7 days, but not only did they have the trumpets, they had what the 12, at least the Israelites, the 12, Jacob's 12 sons, were able to shriek. That's the word I'm going to use, because I think that is in the Bible, the shrieking. Some kind of cry that these mighty men were able to do. And it was so powerful that it shook. And I thought it was always the trumpets, but obviously it was a combination, or it could have been just the shrieking noise that came from these mighty men that actually crumbled the city walls. It's an amazing book. It tells you about what these mighty men did. And you know that God tried to eliminate all the giants, the disembodied spirits, the demons inside I don't know. God tried to get Joshua, especially afterwards, after they left Egypt, to finish eliminating those tribes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that all happened after the flood. So with that, I mean, that's something we can look forward to. But in the meantime, I want to go back and play this video that's also attached to this Facebook page, if it'll let me. Let's try this. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to go just play the first minute or two. And I think I have to go and turn down the volume. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but we're going to turn the volume down there and go start this video.
Folks, human rights attorney Lee Dundas here. I got a quick message for you today. There is a name for a government that has only one branch in session, and that name ain't democracy, it's a dictatorship. My fellow Californians, we need to wake up. Our governor is currently saying it is illegal to work for money, but you are encouraged to work for free and volunteer. That ain't called capitalism, that's called socialism. And it's kind of interesting how the virus is magically no longer deadly if you're volunteering your time, but if you go to make money with your time, that ain't okay. I want to put it to you straight. Newsom is hobby horsing, he's cherry picking, he's teachers petting, and he is straight up discriminating. Why in the hell are pot shops open when houses of prayer aren't? Nothing against my good friends who are stoners, but even they agree at no point in the Constitution, not in the First Amendment, not in the Second Amendment, and not in any of the other amendments are you guaranteed a right to buy pot. You are guaranteed, however, a right to pray and to assemble and to speak and to move, which seems to have been forgotten in our haste to contain a virus that is less than 1% deadly. Absolutely.
Yeah, so on that note, let me bring you back to where I had over here. The Bill of Rights, okay? I mean, you all know about the Bill of Rights, right? First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for the redress of grievances. Okay? And of course, my number two that we all argue about, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, and the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed at all, right? Infringed at all. So what's going on in Chicago? It's just crazy. That's how things go there. So, all right, let's get back to some other stuff. What did I want to show you? Well, okay, so we can get off this Corona stuff. I'm so tired of it. It's just, right? Because we should not. There's obviously something else that they're planning. I think that this. You've heard my opinions on it. That it's an exercise. We had an exercise before that called Event 201. You know all about that, so I won't get into that. But come on, man. Anyways, if you've been listening, you know what I'm talking about. It's a lot of stuff in my head right now. Speaking of our sister sun, in that solar system, and the timing of it is right about now. We might have, I waited for it last year, but there's still a timing for it up until 2021. I still think that we might even go as long as 2024, but maybe just something else. And you remember that's that solar eclipse that went across the United States, and 7 years later, which will be in 2024, that another eclipse will happen, but it will come back over the United States in another way from north to southwest, and put an X right over the Mississippi River. And I think it's where the three-way split happens. And I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that in prophecy. I just know that you know, X marks the spot. Just kind of funny that, I don't know. But I see things happening way before that. So in any case, you know, we all just need to pray on things. That's it. That's all we can do. So let's just get into some other stuff. I mean, we've all, you know about this 5G and 6G supposedly, and the Starlink satellites, and how they're now, well, Musk anyway is going to populate the heavens with those Starlink sites and beam their 5G or 6G. And somebody else was telling me they got 6E. I never heard of that before. Okay, I haven't heard of the 6E. I haven't seen any articles about tanks in America. Doesn't mean that it's not so, of course. But I usually cover a wide range. But in any case, I haven't heard. I've heard people talking about it, but I have not seen anything, you know, about it. So I don't know. What's the 6E? Has anybody got a better explanation? I mean, I don't have really any explanation. Why would they come out with a 6E? When they haven't even, well, they're introducing the 5G, 6G now, but this is when we were talking about the cruise line ships. You know, remember how they were getting this COVID right in the middle of an ocean. So in any case, some other strange things are happening on and or over these cruise ships. This one right here, hundreds of gray, and I don't know what these are, petrels trapped on a cruise ship in Russia. Apparently they have a video, which I haven't seen yet. So hundreds of these were trapped overnight after landing on the ship Vitus, bearing sailing to Kolmysk, Russia. The crew simply threw the birds overboard back into the water. Many died during unloading. Yeah, I bet they're probably kicked around. Ecologists weren't let on board. So wow, so there's a picture, and that's not really helpful. You know what I got to do for you all is kind of give you more in this video, but can't do it right now. But I can go to the desktop and just eliminate my picture for now. So the birds were trapped because of their anatomical characteristics. They simply cannot take off from the deck. They need a hill or a counter flow of air. How do they get on there anyway? Anyways, here's a little video that we'll play. This will be the first time because I don't know what's on it.
Продолжаю, пытаюсь пройти до рекавы. Вон. Видишь тут? Несчетное количество. Вообще, ужас. Пройти невозможно.
So, very strange, is it not? Very strange. And so we'll just go on to these other articles like this one. I believe this one was an older one a few days ago. Another hundreds of birds dropped dead on a cruise ship, open deck, something odd is going on. I don't know if this is the same one. Obviously they don't look the same, so definitely different birds. Wow, they look like different coloring. So these, you know, this was 5 days ago that this actually happened. Open deck by the crew. So they dropped these birds. I mean, what else could it be, people? We've heard about tests before, birds dropping out of trees and other species dropping out of trees during what appeared to be 5, 6G testing. We've heard about firemen. We've heard about school children, you know, with their new addition to their antenna poles that were outside now have been removed because people were getting brain cancer and other kind of cancers. And now we got this thing, which we know is being beamed down to these cruise ships, this 5-6G, very powerful waves. We know all about that. I don't know if these birds are passing over at the time, or they're somehow drawn to this type of energy and then just are killed or fried once they hit that energy, the frequency. So there you go. There's another little bit of what we won't play it. So anyway, this one also, well, this is just a, another mass die-off. Thousands of seabirds wash up dead on Scotland beaches. Where were the cruise ships? Russia was one of them. So Russia, Sweden, somewhere in that area. So in the last few days, thousands of guillemots have been washing up on beaches across northeast of Scotland. If not dead, the seabirds are quite overweight. What the hell does that have to do with anything? So after hundreds of birds were found dead on the open decks of a cruise ship a few days ago, now thousands of seabirds are stranded on beaches across the northeast of Scotland. Yeah, so it definitely has a lot to do with it. Most dead, otherwise underweight. I don't know how that has to do with anything. Maybe their innards are being, changed by this frequency and bloating them. I mean, how they know? They don't do any studies, right? They just turn it on because it makes big money. Mysterious cause. The birds have been coming into us, have been quite underweight, so it's presumably food related. Due to lockdown, the wildlife charity is relying on people to deliver the injured birds to them. Yeah, come on, man. Just go get darn birds, find out what's going on. This lockdown is ridiculous now. I think we just need to keep continuing to protect our elderly who are in these nursing homes, and elderly that are not, that are home. They need to be protected. They need to be maybe quarantined just to protect them. And anybody else who has, underlying conditions, heart disease, there's a list. Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety, depression. Yeah, anybody who's not, 100%, kind of sounds like, we're getting back to the natural selection part of the fittest, right? They want to keep the fittest because they want to be able to, shepherd us into slavery the way they want it, but they want us to be fit so we get things done, not have to keep paying out to somebody who can't work. Simple as that. It's money, it's numbers. Yeah, so this isn't it big in the news too. These two doctors that I put out there, I'm sure it's now deleted on my video somehow, because the video of mine is still out there. But there was just, a clip of the doctors on it. Yeah, it's now been since deleted, and Tucker Carlson talked about it, I guess, the other night. We're going to play just a minute of that.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Last night on this show, we played you a clip from a nearly hour-long video produced.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's play it from here.
Physicians in California, Doctors Dan Erickson and Artin Masihi. Likely many of you had already seen it. That video has had more than 5 million views on YouTube. In their presentation, the two doctors presented a flurry of data pointing to what we are currently learning about this virus and how it spreads. They recited pages of government statistics and then interpreted them in light of their own long clinical experience as doctors. At one point, they noted that the newly adjusted death rate in their state of California, which is much lower than anyone expected it to be, and they asked if government officials there should change their policies based on this new science. Why?
We've seen 1,227 deaths in the state of California, with a possible incidence or prevalence of 4.7 million. That means you have a 0.03 chance of dying from COVID-19 in the state of California. 0.03 chance of dying from COVID in the state of California. Does that necessitate sheltering in place? Does that necessitate shutting down medical systems? Does that necessitate people being out of work?
No.
So whatever your view of the mass quarantines, and maybe you're enthusiastically for them, the questions you just heard are valid questions. In fact, they're critical questions. We should all be asking those questions, including and especially our policymakers. But as Dr. Erickson pointed out later in the video, dissent of any kind is no longer tolerated in this country. Fact-based honesty, which is the soul of science, is under attack, even in hospitals. Dr. Erickson described physicians being pressured to classify illnesses and deaths as related to coronavirus, whether they believe that to be true or not.
We aren't pressured to test for flu, but ER doctors now, my friends that I talk to say, you know, it's interesting, when I'm writing up my death report, I'm being pressured to add COVID. Why is that? Why are we being pressured to add COVID to maybe increase the numbers and make it look a little bit worse than it is? I think so.
Yeah, so we've heard that. There you have it. It's not the only doctor that we've heard that from. We've heard it from other, nurse, other practitioners, I guess you call them, other healthcare workers. We've heard that the numbers are, the hospitals are losing revenue, not gaining it. So with that said, I mean, where are all the excess face masks going? What do they need them for? You heard that Trump came out and said that, they're stockpiling them. Stockpiling them for what? Besides giving them to other countries, so he says as well. But now we're stockpiling everything. Now that this is going to be over, I think they wanted this lockdown for maybe something else that's coming along the way. And a test, so to see how ready they are with this type of situation where the whole country is basically going to shelter in place from something. You got articles out there about the U.S. Navy releasing videos of UFOs now, at least 3 in the past couple days of video UFOs. We've all talked about all that, the possibility of another great deception besides the one that we're going through would be, Project Bluebeam, an alien invasion or an alien encounter. Who knows? And we know that the Antichrist, the beast system, all that is right around the corner. So why wouldn't this deception come in? Someone coming, claiming to have such, technology that we could all be, all the people who had cancer could be cured. How about that? Wouldn't that be something? I mean, remember, they're going to try and fool you. They're going to be able to bring fire down from heaven. I mean, Japanese can do that now, right? They can shoot up a satellite and fire out a missile type thing, any color they want, make it look like a meteor. I mean, but you know what I mean. So, with anything, now you got this stuff. I mean, does anybody really, are people really going to vote for Biden for president? I heard a scary situation that could happen is that he is going to have a vice president that's going to be a woman. Don't know who yet. I don't know about her. But he's going to have a woman. And I mean, why would you vote for this? This guy can't even remember half the things. He can't remember where he is, the things that he's thinking about. Of course, I forget from time to time too, but it's a lot worse with him. I don't think he's healthy enough to be there. And the problem that I've said before is that if he gets into a debate, or that could be a big problem for him, he could probably have a heart attack then, because I think Trump is not going to be easy with him. In any case, if if the weirdest of all weird things ever happens and he ends up being president, just remember one of these women who are going to be vice president will become president. That's a scenario too. You have to think that that is a possible scenario. Things have really gotten strange. Yeah, I'm gonna leave you with something I looked up in the Bible. Okay, we're gonna read about. We're gonna go to Ecclesiastes. I'm just going to read about. First of all, here's the definition of vanity. Okay, vanity is an emptiness. It's a want of substance to satisfy desire. Everything that we do nowadays in this world is, whether we're buying, whether it's a meal or a car or a new computer, a new phone. Oh, the new iPhone's out. Let's go. You got to get that. Yeah. And that's a desire for something that is not really going to bring you the things that you need. You try and, get it through these things, which are just all vanity. It's just, they're just worthless. It doesn't give you the fulfilling need. And it's a spirit. You need to fill your spirit and build your spiritual person up. And you can only do that through Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit itself, himself. He's the only one that can comfort you in the times like these that are so fearful and damning and dark. And the Holy Spirit does that. Jesus Christ does that. Him just coming, and dying for our sins and making us all saved. He came and died for our sins, which normally, if he didn't, we would all have to die because we've all sinned, and the penalty for sin is death, right? Of course, we all know that we're going to die anyway. Yes, none of us want to, do we? I particularly don't care either way. I'm just not crazy about the transition, because what's going to happen? Am I going to have time enough to think about all the things that I'm leaving behind, which is just vanity? Anyway, let's get back to vanity. I don't fear death anymore. I just fear the transition, because I don't want to think about the things that, people are going to, well, not a whole lot of people, but may be sad about me leaving. I may not want to be separated from them, but yeah, you don't have a lot of time to think about that, but you think you had a lot of time before that. So anyway, Ecclesiastes. So I'm sure somebody will correct me on that too. 1:2. Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher. Vanity of vanities. All is vanity. Read the whole chapter, the whole book, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. It is vanity, but you know what? I still do it. I still go on, when I feel like I'm just stuck somewhere and dead everywhere, dead inside, dead outside. I go to my Amazon account and I order something. And I get to look forward to it coming the next day or 2 days and open it up, and it's something I, needed for that moment, and then it's gone. It's gone. It's so short. It's just vanity. 1:14. I have seen all the works of that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit. 2:11. Then I looked on all the works of my hands and wrought, and on the labor that I had labored to do, and behold, all was vanity and vexation of spirit, and there was no profit under the sun. 2:17, I'll leave it at that. Therefore I hated life, because the work that is wrought under the sun is grievous unto me, for all is vanity and vexation of spirit. So true. I don't particularly like life right now at all. Not a bit. Especially when you get older. I mean, you just have all kinds of aches and pains. constant worries about your children and other things in life that, I mean, obviously, if you work on your spiritual person, a lot of those things will be much better, much easier to take, and you can grab a hold of the, this, what do you call it, the sacred hope, Jesus. He's the hope. The hope of his coming, the hope of a rapture, maybe. We still are, are you not going through tribulation now? I know I'm going through tribulation. Jesus said that we will have tribulation. So no matter what timing you have on a rapture or no rapture, I mean, as long as you're, 100% convinced of that, that won't be held against you. And I don't hold it against you either. Just as long as you are very, very passionate about it. And then the Holy Spirit will teach you the right way. And Jesus. Anyway, that's enough of me talking. So, yeah, with that, this Kamala Harris about whether we live or die. If you vote Trump in, we'll probably die from the coronavirus. You vote Biden in, and you listen to him talk about what he's going to do. Same thing Trump's doing, only he stutters and forgets words and other things. So with that, everyone, that is my first, well, I think it's my third test of this new format. And that's it. It is Wednesday. Be back again Friday, hopefully, Lord willing. So with that, take care of each other, man. You're really going to need it in the next couple of weeks, even more than ever. And for what's to come, you need to lift each other up. You need to find out where your loved ones are. Keep close contact. Obviously you can now because you're probably all home, right? So anyways, God bless everyone. Peace out.